Hello there, my most amazing artists, and welcome back to art class. For this project, we are going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about how to draw some delicious treats like these donuts here. We're going to also talk about manners and how a little thing like saying please can really get you a long way. But before we talk about these delicious treats right here and how you can create some of your own, I wanted to share a book with you called Please, Mr. Panda. And you can see Mr. Panda here has a box full of donuts. And let's find out what he's going to do with them. Would you like a donut? Give me the pink one. No, you cannot have a donut. I have changed my mind. Would you like a donut? I want the blue one and the yellow one. No, you cannot have a donut. I have changed my mind. Would you like a donut? No, go away. Well, that wasn't very nice. Would you like a donut? I want them all. Then bring me some more. No, you cannot have a donut. I have changed my mind. Would anyone else like a donut? Hello, may I have a donut? Please, Mr. Panda? You can have them all. Thank you very much. I love donuts. You're welcome. I don't like donuts. And you can see that the lemur got all of the donuts, and now he's sleeping off a food coma. So I think that the lesson in that book is pretty clear, right? Think about it. Why did Mr. Panda not give any of the other animals a donut? Because they didn't say please. They simply said, yes, I would like that one, or I want that one, or I want all of them. But saying something as simple as please and thank you can take you so much further, and you should really think about making sure that when you're talking to people that you're always saying please and thank you no matter what they do, because it's always better to be polite and to show kindness than it is to be mean. Nobody wants to be around a mean person, but kind people, they're my kind of people. So because Mr. Panda was selling these, giving out these amazing donuts, we're going to make some donuts. And making your own donuts is pretty simple. I don't really think I have to show you how to make these donuts, but I'm going to show you how I made mine and a couple different features that I would like you to include when you create your donuts. Now, depending on the size of your paper and depending on what you find that you could trace for a circle will kind of help you figure out how many donuts you're going to make. Now, I ended up making 3 on my piece of paper because that was as many as I could fit. But if you do have smaller things that you can trace, you could make more donuts than that. So let's talk about some of the things that you can use to help you trace the circle that you need for your donut shapes. I have a few different round objects here that I used to make my donuts. Now, what I actually used to make my donuts is I used a roll of masking tape that I had. I think that the one I used was a little bit smaller. You can see that it shrunk a little bit because I've used some tape since tracing, but I used the outside of my masking tape and then I drew the hole on the inside by myself. So find something that you think would make a good sized donut. So maybe a roll of tape would do, masking tape, duct tape, whatever kind you have around the house. I did find this lid to a plastic container that I have. Now this is kind of big, so I could probably fit 1 and then maybe 2 donuts on a piece of paper with something that's this large. So you want to have at least 2 donuts. If you can fit more, it'll give you more decorating options. And then you could just draw the circle on the inside. I also found this little bucket that I had dry erase markers in. I could use either end, either the bigger end or I could flip it and use the bottom to make smaller donuts. And again, just draw the smaller circle on the inside of the donut, no big deal. I also could use, if you have like a round bottle of something, you can use that, or a jar. I have my hand sanitizer container here. I could turn that on its side and just trace the circle shape there. So whatever it is that you happen to have, use that and trace it. So for example, when I made my donuts, let me just move my donuts down a smidge for you, and I'm going to draw one right on here. So when I made my donuts, I used my masking tape. I put that on my paper. I traced the outside of my masking tape, and then I basically just took my pencil and just drew a smaller circle on the inside to create the shape of my donut. I'm going to move this a little closer because I do want to show you one other thing. So when you are creating donuts, you have some options. You can always make a donut that does not have a hole in the middle. Maybe it's like a Boston cream donut or a jelly donut or one of these, fancy donuts with some sort of filling on the inside of it. And then if you have ones with the holes. If you want to make icing, you don't just want to color the whole donut with the icing, because when you look at a donut, you can see some of the icing and you can still see the actual donut. So when you're drawing icing, and I am going to do this with a marker so you guys can see it a little bit better. All right, and of course, listen, if you don't have anything to trace for a donut and you're good at drawing circles, you can just draw the circles yourself too. So this is my donut. Before I go decorating it, I'm going to draw in where I want the icing to be. Now this one I had the icing go all the way to the middle. This one my icing was a little, a little extra. So it depends on what you want it to look like. But definitely on the outside, you could have some areas where there's not too much icing. So all of this could be icing, and maybe I want to leave it going all the way up to there, or I could add, maybe there's like a little spot here where the icing's not touching. All right, and then you can color it in. I would use some sort of tan or brown color to color the actual donut, and then you can decorate the icing however you want. The only other thing that you want to make sure you add is take either a black crayon or colored pencil, or even better, gray, and you want to make sure that you add a cast shadow. Now think about when we did the Wayne Thiebaud cupcakes in particular. When we did those, if you are in 3rd grade and you're watching this video, cast shadows can help make objects look more realistic and like they are laying on some sort of surface. So these don't just look like magical floating donuts. We want to make them look like they're actually sitting on a surface and we're looking at them. So you want to add that cast shadow. So with these donuts, we're pretending that the light is coming from this way and it's casting a shadow here and here. So it's casting a shadow in this direction. So if the light was coming from there, I would have just a little bit of a shadow, and then you want to do it on the outside of the curve, just a little bit. And this will help make your donut look like it is actually sitting on the surface. And there's a little how-to on how to make some donuts, but the rest is completely up to you. I want you to be creative, make me some really cool looking donuts. They really do anything with donuts these days. And make sure that you take a picture of your art and send it in to me so I can see it. And I cannot wait to see your donut creations. And don't forget to use please and thank you when you're talking to others. And I'll see you guys again next time for art class.